Hey, what is up, everybody? It is Dirty and
DZAN. What is going on, people? Today is Wednesday, October 27th, but for you, Friday the 29th. Like this video, crush that like button, subscribe if you haven't already. What the hell is going on, Dirty D? How you doing?
Well, first of all, everybody, glad you enjoyed the 25th podcast episode. We had some stuff happen behind the scenes here. Couldn't get to a podcast last week, but thank you for watching that. And then we got a lot of stuff to talk about.
We got a lot, bud. We got a lot. Let's get into it right away.
Let's put some light on the subject.
What?
I gotta show the moneymaker here.
This is some serious shit right here.
This is why the people click on.
This is why they tune in, exactly, for your side of the screen. That's right, the right side.
Okay, let me just start off with NFL owners meeting. So I believe it's in New York City. Every year they have an NFL owners meeting. The past couple of years, due to COVID, obviously they were done remotely. There are a couple of owners have COVID concerns, but they're not coming, but everybody else is there, including Ian Rappaport, who is the reporter for the NFL. And I did watch a video, skim through an article real quick here just before we got on, because I knew there was some stuff kind of starting to break off a little bit. And the Washington football team.
Washington.
It's a disgusting cesspool of inhumanity and treating women very poorly. I'm not a fan of that. Never have been. Some may make the argument that maybe I treat women poorly because I objectify them. I objectify the ones that want to be objectified. Let's get that straight, okay? If you are wearing Amish clothing, I promise you I won't look twice at you, okay?
Right.
If you're wearing a bikini walking down the street in front of my house, I'm going to look at you. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
But you can rest assured, I have never in my life gotten past a point to where a woman has told me no. Maybe it's because they never told me no. I don't know. You're supposed to laugh at
Dirty D,
seriously.
Dirty D.
This is a problem.
Yeah,
and,
man.
Unfortunately, it's still happening in this world that we live in. And we've got racism, we've got ageism, we've got sexism, all of that
Isms.
All of those isms gross me out, man. I want nothing to do with an ism. All right.
Yep.
Get
those isms.
Sorry. I hope that.
See, that's the one I laughed at. I like stupid shit. You know my style. You know my style. Slapstick. Yeah.
Low hanging fruit.
Yeah. Give me some physical comedy.
I tend to
Fall out of your chair.
gravitate to people that are like that for whatever reason.
Oh, I knew you were going to be saying some shit like that.
Okay. I am absolutely mortified, though, at some of the reports that I have read. I'm going to leave that for you because I don't want to get sued. But
yeah, right.
I have made some inferences from some articles that I've read that just astound me. And I can't believe in this day and age that this stuff still happens.
Yeah.
And to all of the women out there that have been mistreated,
hit them with the dirty
by the Washington football team.
Yep.
I feel very, very badly for you, and you have every right to be upset. And I hope the NFL really, really digs their heels in here and starts moving forward. I really do. It's disgusting.
Yep.
And there is another really cool aspect to all of this, and that is the Rooney Rule is being looked at. Now, if you guys don't know what the Rooney Rule is, Dan Rooney, the second owner of the Pittsburgh Steelers, the son of the original owner, Art, he thought it was a good idea to put in a system to where you didn't have a choice but to at least interview a minority.
Yeah.
And I don't even like the term minority because anyway, but just for the sake of that, we'll just get through that. All right. They want to increase that. I don't know. They haven't laid out exactly what the plan is as far as, is it 2 people? Is it 3 people? Or should you have a percentage of your coaches on your team? I mean, listen, man, look at the NFL and look at the NFL over the course of the past 40 years. It's predominantly black.
Mm-hmm.
Yet 90% of the coaches are white.
Yep.
Now, that doesn't mean that a white guy can't be a great coach, because they absolutely can, and they have. Bill Belichick may be the greatest coach of all time and never really played professional ball. Yeah. So that doesn't always mean anything, and I understand that. The problem is this, for all of you that are pushing back on me right now. The problem is this: when you don't get an opportunity to showcase your skills, that's where the problem is. It's not the ability, it's the ability to show the ability.
Right, exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
What's so wrong with that? What's the problem here? Why is there any pushback on that?
Yeah.
Those are my thoughts on that, for what it's worth. But nevertheless, NFL owners meeting going on right now as we speak. And from what I understand, watching Pat McAfee and reading a couple of articles on this, might be some bombshells coming out of this.
Only time will tell. Only time will tell.
Oh, it's going on right now. So time isn't too far in the future here.
Especially for you guys watching this now.
Yeah.
All right. So what game stood out to you this week, Dirty, besides the absolute slaughtering that the Bears took against the Buccaneers, 3-38, or the
Kansas City Chiefs? What
Kansas
is going
City
on,
Chiefs?
man?
Kansas City Chiefs. We all thought they were going to be the ones.
Everybody. I picked the Bills. I just want to go on record as saying I picked the Bills.
Right.
And I don't think anybody should be burying the Chiefs at this point. However, there's problems. Definitely problems on the defense. But there's problems with the line.
Yeah.
There's problems with the running game. You don't have more than one receiver and one tight end to throw to. And then you've got Mahomes doing what he did in college. He's reverting back. He used to do this stuff in college, the throwing left-handed and underarms and sideways and all of that stuff.
Yeah,
and
slingshotting him
in a lot of trouble in college doing that. So, Kansas City fans, if you're surprised, that means you didn't do your homework. This was the book on Patrick Mahomes coming into the NFL, and everybody seems to forget about that part. And listen, I'm quite sure Patty is going to come back stronger than ever. I'm sure of it. But right now, it's not looking good. And quite frankly, I think this season is in jeopardy for the Chiefs. And then the Bengals absolutely annihilating
the Ravens, man. I love that.
Wow.
I mean, yeah, it was great. Not the biggest Ravens fan, but that was a fantastic game.
Obviously, me either. It's Steelers division.
Obviously.
Steelers are in dead last.
Don't say dead. They're just last. They're just chilling.
Well, they do play Cleveland this weekend.
Yep.
And no Baker Mayfield. I think that might help them. Anyway. And Jarvis and OBJ still up in the air.
Right.
Chubb is out, I believe. And Hunt, I believe, is still out. I'm not 100% on all of those as of today, which is Friday. I'm on Wednesday right now. So we'll see. But the thing is that Steelers can make up a lot of ground.
Any update on your team's groins?
On the what?
On their groins, your team?
Oh, the groin.
You got about 9 testes that are in danger right now.
A groin kicker walking around.
No shit.
Steel City, apparently. So
attacking random football players.
He was hanging around Heinz Field, and as they were coming out,
hi Brixton. Well, I mean, that was great. I think we're ready to switch on. You ready to switch on? You got anything else for NFL? Football.
Good. If anything pops up, I will be checking throughout this podcast. So if anything pops up,
basically anytime DZAN's talking, he'll be doing this.
I'll interrupt. I'll make sure I interrupt. That.
Yeah. Louis J. Gomez over there, he's out. He's out.
He is?
Yeah, he's out. He's not going to be doing the Believe You Me podcast anymore. Believe You Me will be continuing on without. This is okay. Here's news, ladies and gentlemen. Louis J. Gomez is out of the Believe You Me podcast. From what I understand, it was an amicable separation. They're both still good, but they're both really busy. Louis doesn't have a passion for MMA. I mean, obviously, he's going to be doing his other stuff, still doing his other podcasts, but they will be no more. He assumes that Michael will be getting a new co-host to replace him, but as of right now, Michael is just doing it on his own. He's had 2 episodes so far without Louis.
I've yet to see that. Okay. Wow.
Yeah.
Right on. All right.
Yeah, I'm about it.
Well, what I was going to ask you guys is, so when you were watching Michael and Louis J. Gomez, and maybe this is part of the reason why, because people used to light him up. He would just sit there on his phone, and while Michael's talking, and he's sitting there, and I know what happens is he's looking it up. Okay, something up on the fly. It's perfectly normal during the course of a podcast, because sometimes there's something you want to check on, the fight card or a fighter's record or something like that. I get that, but he does it all of the time,
constantly.
And it's so fucking rude. It's like there's a camera right here.
Exactly.
If I'm recording on this camera, I know that my subjects are on the other side of that lens, and I need to pay attention to them.
Yeah.
Being on my phone makes it difficult.
Yep. No shit. I mean, I couldn't even reach to fix my volume without Dirty being like, and now he's not even paying attention to me.
Hang on 1 second, guys. All right.
So just so we're all aware, he pretended like he was going to hit record. And so I was like, waiting for a long time.
So
okay.
Funny.
All right, here we go. Now that Dirty's done fucking with me, let's go over UFC.
Island boy.
Oh, he's gonna do it on here. Okay, great. Yeah, this is what he's been serenading me during the break. Ladies and gentlemen, UFC Vegas 41 just wrapped up. Vittori versus Costa. What a weird week it was with the whole weight thing. A lot of theories circling around Costa and his missed weight and why he missed weight, whether it was intentional cheating, whether it was him trying to get released from the UFC so he can do boxing. There's a lot of different theories floating out there. Point is this: Vittori is a fucking beast for taking it at 195 and then taking it at 205. All respect to Vittori. And, Dana White likes him a lot more for that because 100%. He didn't ask for anything extra. He said, let's just do it.
I don't know if you picked up on this or not, but it wasn't just that. After the fight was over, he was being interviewed, and he was actually standing up for the UFC. I don't know if you caught this or not. He was talking about weight classes. Did you catch this?
No, I didn't see
Yeah,
it.
he
I didn't
was
catch the
talking.
post.
He was talking about weight classes, and he was talking about how, uh, you know, there's a lot of talk about, you know, cutting weight and and all of this. He says it's really simple. If you can't make 185 or you can't make 170, you can't make 205, or if you're a girl, you can't make 135, go up to the next class.
Yeah.
Problem solved. And it is that simple, but the fact that he defended the UFC,
Right.
I started processing that immediately, and I'm thinking, okay, he's officially a company boy.
He's a company boy, man. He's gonna,
it's official.
They take care of their company boys, man. Look at Max Holloway. There's a lot of company boys that get taken care of. Cowboy Cerrone. There's a lot of them. They get taken care of. Diego Sanchez at one point. But the real winners, okay, of Vegas 41 was the referees. I want to give a big shout out. Last podcast, I was shitting on referees pretty bad for their lack of accountability. And I just want to applaud Chris Tione on how he handled the Trinaldo Grant fight, taking ownership of the octagon. He was able to dock a point because he'd given a really direct warning before anything had ever even happened. You know what I mean? He said, hey, I see your hands like this. You need to be like this. That's going to be your only warning before an even eye poke. So then when the eye poke did happen, immediately took a point because, hey, I warned you earlier. So I love that. I want to give a big shout out to Chris. And then my man crush, Jason Herzog himself, the greatest referee in UFC history, on it immediately during the Caceres and Choi fight, I believe it was. Choi hit Alex with an illegal knee, getting a doctor in there right away, making sure Alex took his time to recover. He took a point right away for the blatant foul. Great work, Jason. I'm gushing. I am gushing. All right. The main event with Costa, twice to keep his fingers up, reaching out of this glove. As soon as he gets poked hard, Jason took a point away, as he should. This is the accountability I was talking about. Jason Herzog, I love you to death. All right. Other than that, we had Marvin Vittori. It was a good fight.
That was
Vittori won.
Gross.
It was needed. It was needed. They don't get enough love. It was. All right, now it's getting a little weird. Let's move on. Here we go.
It's getting very weird. All right.
Please tell me your thoughts on that.
No,
not my crush. No, not my. Okay. I'll move forward. Listen,
we got so much stuff to do. Go ahead,
guys. It's finally happening. It's finally getting scheduled. Our boy Trayshawn is getting another crack. The middleweight fight between Brian Battle and Trayshawn Gore is in the works for February 5th. The matchup that was supposed to happen during the
like Trayshawn very much.
Right. Yes. I said our boy. This was supposed to happen, obviously, for the Tough 29 finale. Didn't happen. Brian and Trayshawn will now be Trayshawn actually will be getting his shot to get his contract. That's done. I think the next thing, before we move on to stuff I don't want to talk about, let's first talk about Nate Diaz. This is all what people can be talking about this week. Nate Diaz and his future with the UFC. He is on his final fight of his contract. Please look, he raised his hand.
No. I was just saying he's got one fight left. Yeah.
One fight left on his contract. And apparently Nate wants to dip into boxing. UFC is holding out on giving him his last fight, obviously, until they figure out or negotiate or try and make Nate sign a new deal.
Yeah, because listen, there's no way Nate's getting out of this. It's just not happening. He hasn't fought Conor the third time. That absolutely has to happen. He knows that.
Yep.
It's very smart because he is very aware. He's keenly aware that the world has to see that fight.
Yeah.
They cannot retire 1-1. It can't happen. And so he is very, very aware of that. Very, very shrewd businessman. Very shrewd indeed. Very seldom do you ever see Dana White get worked over. And I feel like he's getting worked over on this one. I really do. Possibly.
I mean, Nate, to me, it seems like Nate just wants to get done with.
He wants to fight
Tony Ferguson.
Tony Ferguson.
Yep.
Come on. Everybody knows that he's going to wipe the floor with Tony Ferguson. And he knows that. His whole team knows that. He goes out, taking out Tony Ferguson, and probably in very stylish manner. Last fight, I think not.
No. But I feel like the Jake Pauls of the world have all been calling out Nick Diaz and Nate Diaz.
A great matchup.
You know, thanks. Nick. Yeah.
Nate Diaz.
Yeah, Nate and Nick. Yeah. So the Nake brothers, they've been getting called out by the Pauls. So I don't know. I mean, that's potentially millions and millions.
Let me tell you something, man. The Paul boys better be really fucking careful.
Yeah, no shit. Well, have you noticed he hasn't really said, he called him out once, and I think that's pretty much it.
Did I hear, you're probably the person to ask this. Did I hear that it was in the contract that, what's the other, not Jake,
Logan, right.
Did I hear that it was in a contract that he wasn't allowed to be knocked out?
No, that's not what I understand. No, not that he's not allowed to be knocked out. I'll have to look into that. I don't think they could do that if it's being a sanctioned bout. I don't think they're allowed to do that, especially if people bet on it. Oh,
no,
well, then
that fight with Floyd wasn't sanctioned.
That was an exhibition match. Mm-hmm. Oh,
and it was in the contract.
I mean, I wouldn't put it past them at all.
This is what came out in the past couple of days. So you haven't heard about this? Okay.
No, I have not.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. No, I have not heard about that shit. So I'll
because I don't know for sure.
Okay. I'll do a little digging.
Yeah.
Okay. Some news that just dropped Wednesday, the 27th.
1 second,
Mike
guys.
Perry.
Sorry.
Mike Perry. Okay. Mike Perry just signed with BKFC Wednesday, the 27th. He's the new face of BKFC. I got to say, they're getting a lot of people. At first, they were kind of haphazardly getting these guys and then pairing them up together to watch them fight. I mean, it was very obvious with what they were doing. But I don't know. They're getting a lot of names now, so we'll see what happens. Like I said, I've always been kind of a fan of the weirder, fighting style that bare knuckle brings. We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens with that. So, Mike Perry, I don't think he's going to do very well, to be honest with you, in bare knuckle at all, because he was already reckless in the UFC with striking. I don't think somebody who's actually really technical.
Personally, I kind of disagree.
Oh, good.
And just a little bit. And because I think with Mike Perry, he doesn't have to worry about grappling.
True. Right? That's true. That's true.
And then the other thing is he will let his hands fly. That's the one thing you can never, ever take from Mike Perry is he might lose, but he ain't giving it up for free. How many times have we seen a snooze fest where you got two bangers and they just walk around the perimeter at the whole
Derek Lewis and Ngannou. Yeah.
Exactly.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I mean, there's a dozen of them you can name.
Yeah, there are.
But with Mike Perry, at least he shows up to fight.
Yeah.
And I will say, he might get knocked out, but he may do some damage in there because, again, he will let his hands fly. And if you get, a guy that's somewhat new to BKFC, a little hesitant.
Right.
Because I've seen that in BKFC with the new people.
Yep.
I think it hits them. Oh, this is bare knuckle.
Yeah,
and that first one
different.
Hits them.
Yeah, or when they fucking hit and they realize how much it hurts to actually hit somebody else's skull with your fucking knuckles.
Precisely.
I mean, look, the GOAT himself, Artem Lobov. Okay, we all make fun of him a lot, but he has some of the best fights when it comes to just not giving a fuck and putting everything he has into every fucking fight. So his fight with Jason Kidd for bare knuckle fighting is still the best bare knuckle fight you will ever fucking see. They both knocked each other down, both knuckles, both hands of each fighter were swollen, broken, and they were still throwing. I mean, those are the kind of killers that thrive in bare knuckle fighting. And I don't know. We'll see if Mike Perry has it. We will see. One thing I definitely wanted to talk about real quick was Leon Edwards heard what Dirty was saying about him and responded to Dirty directly. No, but he responded to a lot of people that felt the same way Dirty did by saying, I'm the only one that's taking these fucking risks. Khamzat, Masvidal, Diaz. I'm the only fighter that's fighting these guys and taking these.
How did he do against Khamzat?
Well, he didn't fight Khamzat because Khamzat got COVID. That's
right. So
but he took the fight when nobody else was. He took the fight when nobody else. Let me finish the fucking quote, okay? All right, here we go. He says, I'm the only one that's fighting and taking all of these lower ranked guys. Like, what the fuck is going on? Like I said, it is what it is, and I'm just going to keep doing my thing. I keep making my moves, keep making my money, and eventually I'll be world champion. Good job, Leon. Hashtag millionaire. Do you have any thoughts?
Am I allowed to talk now?
Yeah.
I didn't want to.
It's totally your turn now.
Oh, okay. Well, thank you for that, DZAN. I appreciate your permission. Fuck Leon Edwards. Let's move on.
All right. Some fight announcements. Holy shit. I feel like.
Whoa.
What?
You did bring up Khamzat's name. Let's talk about what you and I talked about earlier.
Oh, right. Yeah. Let's talk about it. Go ahead.
I gotta say, man, I've often wondered what it was like, because we all saw on video when Khabib's team approached the GOAT, Artem Lobov, and we saw what that looked like, optically, right?
Yeah.
And then we also know now that there was a meeting between Khabib and his people and Khamzat Chimaev.
Mm-hmm.
I would have loved to have been a fly on the wall for that one, because if you noticed, and I know that you did, but I'm talking to everybody on the other side of that lens there. If you noticed in his interviews this week, that was a slightly more subdued, much more respectful Khamzat Chimaev. I don't like it. I don't like it one bit. Khamzat Chimaev is a human being and he's his own person. And I don't believe because he's from the same tribe, if you will, of Khabib, that Khabib feels this responsibility to rein him in. That's not Khabib's responsibility.
No, it's not. I've always felt like for years Khabib has had this mafia-like mentality. I mean, obviously.
We know that because of the story we talked about before, and I think we talked about it here.
Right, we did. Yep, we did. And the fact that he took a shit on the bus, all that fun stuff.
We didn't need to go there.
I had to throw that on there.
Anyway.
But yeah, no, I totally agree with what you're saying. And I think it's obvious. He's not, and I said this to you earlier, is that I feel like he's subtly more humble, right? He's not, totally there because he's still saying smash the people, crush the people, but he is doing it in a more way where he's like, yes, I enjoy talking to you guys about this, blah, 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 blah. And he actually got into it with one of the reporters that says, you do a lot of talking. And he's like, I don't do a lot of talking. You do all the talking. You do the talking. You ask me questions and I just tell you what I think. Yeah. But there's this underlying thing. Yeah. There's this underlying thing there where you almost feel like he was put on notice and now he's on his best behavior. And I don't like it. I don't like it.
I don't like it one bit. Khabib, mind your own fucking business.
Yep. 100%. All right. Fight announcements. Holy shit. We're going to be talking about Khabib here in a little bit.
Less fun.
It really does. It really does. He's been on one, man.
Was a great shit talker.
Yeah.
Let him talk, man.
Let him talk.
Entertain us. What is the problem? Why can't you see? I don't understand what Khabib doesn't see the value in the entertainment level of shit talk.
Right.
It's part of the fun.
Yeah. But this is from the same guy that thinks that the fucking female ring card girls are useless. So well, I don't, don't put too much stock into that.
That's the problem, is he's a fucking dinosaur. stuck in the hills of Dagestan his whole life,
Yep.
and he hasn't seen anything outside of that.
Except for
So
bears.
he doesn't know any better. So all he knows is bears and religion and rice patties.
Smash. Yeah. Smash.
And
all right.
Yeah.
Fight announcements, guys. Holy shit. UFC 269 is getting better and better by the day. They keep adding fucking fights. Let's go down the list. Okay. Main event, Charles Oliveira versus Dustin Poirier for the featherweight, for the lightweight belt. Then we have Amanda Nunes versus Juliana Pena for the, I think it's the bantamweight that they're going for this fight.
Did you happen to catch the interview of Valentina on Joe Rogan?
I did.
I couldn't
did.
stop fucking staring at her.
She is gorgeous personified, 100%. And the fact that she is
everything about that woman, man,
so accurate and deadly in the octagon, it only makes her more sexy.
I can't imagine what, and you know what I mean, what
Yeah.
that would be like.
Right. Yeah. That's how I always just imagine Megan. I'm like, she can physically dominate me.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, I know our wives don't watch this.
I gotta keep it down.
We know our wives don't watch. But no, seriously, that was all kidding aside, it was a great interview.
Yeah, no, it really was. And she's just so fucking smart. I mean, this woman can speak 4 different languages, 4 different languages. She is so fucking amazing, man. And she's so articulate, and she's all about martial arts. And I just love that. I fucking love it. It's just
life revolves around martial arts, man.
Yep. I love it. Okay. So Amanda Nunes, Juliana Pena, then we have Leon Edwards, of course, versus Jorge Masvidal. And then under that, we're still talking about the same card, ladies and gentlemen. Then after that, Kaya Kara-France versus Cody Garbrandt for Cody's 125 debut. And then Sean O'Malley versus Raulian Paiva. And then they just added, I don't know. I don't even think I pronounced it right.
And I
he's the only
Sean O'Malley knows it.
Oh my God. Dirty. Once I finish naming all these people, you're going to realize that is the only motherfucker that is a no name on this main card. No disrespect to Paiva, but yes. And then we have Jeff Neal versus Santiago Ponzinibbio. Holy shit, that's going to be a good fight. And then Pedro Munoz versus Dominic Cruz. Yes.
He's back.
Yes, against Jeff Neal. Hello.
Wow.
And then Pedro Munoz versus Dominic Cruz. What a motherfucking card, ladies and gentlemen. This is the one that's happening on December 11th. I am fucking excited for this. I cannot wait. Cannot wait. What are your thoughts on those fights?
I love Jeff Neal. Always have. Ponzinibbio has been all over the place. I saw him destroy Mike Perry. And then there was the fight after the Mike Perry fight. He got annihilated. So it depends on which Ponzinibbio shows up. I love Jeff Neal though.
Yeah.
Love
it's going to be really fucking
That's
good.
It's no, really you're good. Right though. That 100%, that is a phenomenal card.
Very stacked.
Go ahead and talk. I'll be right back.
Okay. So next thing that we're going to talk about is, first I was going to talk about Conor, but I kind of want to do that with Dirty D. And after the fight announcements that we talked about, we are going to be talking about Conor McGregor. And then after that, we are going to be giving you guys our UFC 267 picks. So while we're waiting for D to get his ass back in his chair, let's go over a couple of music topics, mainly some albums that have dropped over the past couple weeks that we were not able to talk about here last week. One in particular, Young Thug's Punk album, came out. I gave it one listen through and it was really, really solid work. I'm not really a big fan of Young Thug. I love his features. I love his hooks. But I don't really resonate as much with his music. I mean, obviously it's just not really my lane, but I love hip hop in general. So I'm always giving hip hop albums a listen, and it was a pretty good album. One album that I really liked was Dax's Paintings, really good. So those are the two album drops that we're going to talk about. The next album drop I'm going to talk about with Dirty later on in this episode. Okay. Now we have got to, as much as I don't want to, we have got to talk about Conor McGregor. So as you guys may or may not have known, Habib started some more shit on Twitter. And then him and Conor went back and forth, and then Ali Abdullah Sleaze got on and started going on about Conor and all this other shit. And I mean, he can get it too, whatever the fuck. And then we hear news that this DJ in Rome got knocked out by Conor McGregor a week and a half ago. It's actually really funny. It was during our podcast where I said he hasn't done anything this week. And then he went and punched a DJ in the face. So let's talk about this real quick. So this is what was said. Okay. I mean, this is the DJ. He said out of nowhere, he threw a punch and hit me in the face. He was inviting us to another party. I said, okay, let's go. Luckily, he was very close, so Conor couldn't get a really big load up on his punch. And Francesco, I think was his name, he flew back. He fell on the floor. The first thing that came to his wife's mind was that, are they kidding? Is this a show? And then he was paralyzed from the shock of it. Okay, nice choice of words there. And then they turned on the lights. The guards then got Conor out of there. Francesco was bleeding. He broke his nose. And then the guards got them out of the party. And then later on that night, he met Johnny Depp. Conor then later on that night met Johnny Depp and forced Johnny Depp to have a shot of proper 12. Okay, I think now we're all caught up on Conor and his adventures this week. First of all, I don't think he punched a DJ.
You don't,
but he definitely could have punched a DJ. But I'm just saying the way that it sounded, and he immediately was like, I'm suing. I don't know. It sounds a little bit like they're just trying to get some money from the GOAT himself. And I just don't like people fucking with greatness. I don't know. That's just where I'm at. What do you think? Am I wrong?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I thought you might say that.
Well, listen, I love Conor too. I do. He's very entertaining, and I always root for him in all of his fights. So I would consider myself a fan for sure. However, sometimes people just get out of control, and they have to be reined back in a little bit. They need to be humbled a little bit, not by Khabib Nurmagomedov, by life.
Mm-hmm.
It has to happen to you on your own. And Conor I don't feel that Conor's learned his lessons yet. And I got a feeling that at some point he's going to have to. At some point, the lawsuits will be that mark where he says enough is enough. I've got to fix some things in my life, and I've got to take a different approach to certain things. And we've all done it, man. Listen, when I was young, I'm a big guy. When I was young, I used to walk around and bully people in school all the time. And my freshman year, I'm not going to say the guy's name. I don't want to give him any more credit than he is already going to get from the story. But I used to pick on him all the time. And one day it was right before school was getting ready to start. We're walking down the hallway. He's walking this way. I'm walking that way. And I just got done eating a Snicker bar. And as we're passing by, I threw the Snicker bar in his face. I kept walking. I didn't realize that he had turned around and called me out. And I kept walking. And then finally he comes running up behind me and he pushes me. And I said, okay, let's go. So we went across the street and he clocks me. First shot hits me right in the fucking nose. My nose, I got a big nose. Mm-hmm. And it fucking exploded, blood everywhere. Oh. Right. It just I'm leaking everywhere.
Yeah.
And I ended up tagging him a few times, but he came up one time and he was bigger than me, believe it or not.
Yeah.
But he was kind of frail looking. I worked out, and so I played hockey and whatnot, So,
yeah.
And so he throws this fucking Hail Mary haymaker and fucking lands fucking flush on my fucking nose again.
Oh my God.
And so finally that was the end of it because I was bleeding too much.
Yeah.
There was blood all over my fucking shirt, my jeans. I had to go back. I ended up getting suspended for 10 fucking days because it was my third fight of the year.
Oh my God.
And it was just a fucking mess. And then the worst part of it all was I had to go home and look at my dad.
Yeah.
With a nose that was 3 times normal, its normal size.
Yep.
You know, and my dad wasn't an easy guy to explain that I got my ass whooped too.
Right. That too. Right.
You know, so there was a lot, but the point is that bullying is not effective. And at some point you're going to get humbled. And that was the moment in my life where I look back on and I realized I needed to make some changes.
Yeah.
I can't do that. I can't walk around just punking everybody. At some point, somebody's going to push back. And it was a very valuable lesson. And I learned that lesson very thoroughly, completely changed the course of my life. And I never, ever in my life did I ever bully anybody again. And the older I got, the more value I saw in not bullying people.
Right. So you're saying this is kind of what Conor needs.
I think at some point he's got to, there has to be a moment where it changes his trajectory.
Right.
It changes how he approaches life. When you have money, it's so easy to fuck you. You know, it's so easy to flip everybody off and go about your own way. But I don't know, man.
We'll see what happens this week. I don't know.
Caught up with at some point.
Yeah. All right. The last thing we have for MMA topics, ladies and gentlemen, is the UFC 267 picks. I'll give Dirty a couple seconds to pull that up. But we got, okay, nice. We have 6 fights on our main card. And here we go. Fight number 1.
I'll go first.
Magomed Ankalaev versus Volkan Ozdemir. Dirty, who do you got?
Ozdemir is a legend, man. I love watching him fight. This is an easy one. I'm going with Magomed Ankalaev.
Okay. For a second there, you really made it seem like you were going for Ozdemir when you said this was an easy one.
I gave him some props because
got you. Like it is going to be an easy one. Yeah, Ankalaev for sure is going to win this one. All right. The people's fight. Khamzat Chimaev versus Li Jingying. Dirty. What do you see?
Did you hear when Khamzat was asked about him? He basically said he never heard of him before.
Never heard of him before. Yeah. Don't know this guy.
There's no way he hadn't heard of him.
Yeah, there's no way. There's no fucking way.
Is a fucking legend, man.
OG, not just of the Korean UFC fighters, just of all. Yeah.
Obviously, I'm going Khamzat.
Yeah, I'm going Khamzat as well, but it's going to be a really good fight. This is a really good test for Khamzat. Really good test.
100%. This is going because Li Jingying can take a beating.
Right. And you know, when you actually get fighters that take those shots instead of, you know, the Sean O'Malley's of the world that goes for the closest no name that will get him a ranking. Great job, Khamzat. This is a real test for you. Okay, so far Dirty and I are in agreement with Ankalaev and Chimaev. Next, we got Alexander Volkov versus Marcin Tybura.
Marcin, yeah. Marcin is one of my favorite fighters.
I love Marcin.
I do, and I is goofy and uncoordinated.
He seems a little sluggish, right?
As Volkov can look,
yeah,
he ends up winning every fucking fight, man.
He's just so it's like this awkward reach he has. He comes from weird angles, and it's very awkward, but it gets the fucking job done, man. He's an OG of the sport. You know what?
I'm going to go Marcin Tybura.
All right.
I'm gonna pick at least one fucking
under.
I can't just sit here and just take the fucking favorites all day.
I'm torn on this one. I was going to go with Volkov. Your spirit has jolted me. But I'll stick with it nevertheless. I will stick with Volkov for my win there. All right, now we get the Islam Makhachev versus Dan
I'll be honest with
motherfucking
you,
Hooker.
this should be the co-main, in my opinion.
Yeah,
It really should. It should
Yeah.
be. It should be the co-main, if not the main event.
this
That's how
is
I feel, but-
amazing. This is amazing. But I know this is an easy one for a lot of people. Islam, Dan Hooker does not have anywhere close to the wrestling pedigree that Islam has. But Dan Hooker is dangerous no matter what, no matter who's in there. He almost took out the best in that division, Dustin Poirier. Yeah, it's definitely doable. So, who do you pick?
Come on.
Look, since this one is kind of easy for us,
Khabib being this terrifying.
Can we do something?
Class. Yeah. What's up?
Let's do this right here. Okay. We're both choosing Makhachev. I mean, it's pretty obvious here.
Oh yeah.
Let's make it a little more interesting,
Well,
and
I
let's
don't know
pick
anybody that's not.
let's pick how it's going to happen, and we'll treat that as our point.
All right.
So,
all right.
all right.
Fair enough. All right.
So Islam Makhachev, how do you think he gets it done?
It's a 3-round fight, correct?
Yes.
Because I know Hooker wanted a 5, but
Yes, this crazy son of a bitch.
yeah, I don't believe that for a second.
No, that was for the media.
Yeah. I think he lasts to the 3rd round.
Okay, so decision for Makhachev.
No.
No. Okay. Submission 3rd round.
I think he gets to the 3rd round, not past.
Got you. Okay. I think that he will ground and pound Dan Hooker out in the 3rd round. So we both see it ending in the last round. D sees it by submission. I see a ground and pound TKO victory for Islam. We'll see what happens there. Now we get the co-main event, the interim.
A little trickier.
Yes, very interim title fight between the boogeyman right now of this division, Corey Sandhagen, and then the real champion of this division, Petr Yan. I really hate to even include Aljamain in this. It really sucks that this motherfucker is still out.
Can we put a moratorium on Aljamain on this channel?
Yeah.
Please, thank you.
Yeah, I agree. Okay, done. I'm so sorry. Petr Yan versus Corey Sandhagen. Petr Yan, with being the beast that he is, Corey has just surprised me over and over and over. That fight with TJ was so motherfucking close. His win against Edgar, the crazy flying knee. I mean, this man has surprised me several times. So I wouldn't put it past him to win the interim title on Saturday. I am really torn with this one. I want to hear your thoughts first.
I'm not torn at all. I'm going Petr Yan.
Okay.
I love Corey Sandhagen. He is a fucking gangster, man. That dude is a straight up gangster. Yeah, I know he doesn't look like it. He is.
No,
and
he is.
He's a badass.
Yep.
But Petr Yan, we always talk about the levels, man.
Yeah.
And he is in a different strata all on his own. I just can't. The whole previous fight for Petr Yan, mind-boggling how all of that transpired, and
yeah. Okay. How do you see Petr winning?
Oh, I'm sorry. I think it'll go to the decision.
Okay. All right. Decision for Petr Yan. I'm with it. I am also going to go with Petr Yan. He reminds me a lot of Valentina Shevchenko in a way, with being
that's a very good comparison. I agree with that.
Fucking well-rounded to the T in this sport. Very
geographical locations too.
Yep. And their striking and the way that they put it together with striking, grappling. Yeah. I'm going Petr Yan, and I think that he is actually going to knock out.
Hang on a second. Let me interrupt you again.
Please.
Because I love it. I think this is a really important thing to point out where we are as a society. and I know this is way in left field here, but we just compared Piotr Jan to Valentina Shevchenko. 20 years ago, I would have never been able to do something like that. And I don't think most of society would.
Yeah.
We compared a male to a female.
Right. Yeah.
That says a lot about Valentina Shevchenko.
That really fucking does.
But I
that
also
really
think
fucking does.
I think it also says a lot about where we are in society.
Yeah.
And that's encouraging.
That's a great observation, Dirty.
I thought it was really important to stop that and point
Yeah.
that out.
No, that was a
I
great
apologize.
observation. No, you're good. You're good. Piotr Jan, I think he's going to knock out Corey Sandhagen in the second round.
That's fair.
Second round knockout, Piotr Jan. Okay, and then look, I feel like the only one we're disagreeing on is Volkov and Tibera. Jan Blachowicz versus Glover Teixeira. I know Glover Teixeira has been on a tear as of late, even after a couple of fights after John Jones. You know, he was a little up and down, but he's been on an absolute fucking tear these past couple years. He is not the 40-plus-year-old fighter you see in there. He is old Teixeira. That being said, the Polish power is real. He dominated one of the GOATs, you know, my encyclopedia GOATs, Israel Adesanya. I don't want to say handedly, but he dominated him.
It was handily. It was handily.
I think Jan Blachowicz is going to, I hate to say this, I think he's going to make short work of Glover Teixeira. I think it'll be a first round or second round knockout for Polish power Jan Blachowicz. Get his hand raised. And
I'm going fourth round knockout.
Okay. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that was your picks for UFC 267. Make sure you guys.
Let me change that to third round knockout.
Third round knockout. All right, I got second. He got third. I'm with it.
And I think it is worth pointing out too. I am a big Glover Teixeira fan. I always have been. So it's This is nothing.
Love Glover.
At all.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I wanted to definitely make that clear. He is an OG and he is killing it. It's just a different monster. Different monster. Guys, please do not forget that this tomorrow, right? For the fights, it is at a special time and it is free if you have ESPN Plus. All you got to do is log in and you're fucking set. 7:30 a.m. Pacific time, 10:30 a.m. Dirty's time, Eastern Standard. Main card is at 12 my time, 2 Dirty's time, and all those time zones thrown at you. It's an early fucking card, ladies and gentlemen, but it's going to be a good one. And I will be mimosaing it up and getting a little tipsy in the morning watching my motherfucking fights. I am excited. All right, guys, that's all we had for MMA. Let's get into music. While Dirty was away, we talked about a couple of the albums that dropped, but one album in particular that we need to talk about. Dirty has finally heard Tech Nine's Asinine. Also, just want to make a note. I know today, as of recording, is the 27th, but I would be remiss if I did not mention October 26th, 12-year anniversary of the greatest Tech Nine album to ever come out, KOD. 12-year anniversary as of yesterday. For those of you that don't know, it was a special album that was released on his mom's birthday. It was his one and only completely dark album, not one light song on the entire album. He made it on her birthday because she was dying. And you guys know she has since passed, but it is a very, very important album for Tech himself. And there's a piece of him on that album that has never gone on to any other album since. So I just want to make that known. 12-year anniversary. What up, Tech Nine? But we are here to talk about Asinine right now. D, what did you think about Asinine, Dirty D? Come on.
It was all right.
Oh, shut the fuck up. Is it not in the running for album of the year, Dirty? Is it not in the running for album of the year?
Absolutely. And, you know, I got some pushback because I made a comment. And for whatever reason, things don't get received either the way I'm saying them or maybe I'm missaying them. I don't know. But I made the comment in there that it was my favorite Tech Nine song that I had listened to as a new release.
Mm.
And I was absolutely blown away with that album. And but apparently some people took that as me saying it was Tech Nine's best album. And
I see, and I knew immediately what you meant.
Okay, well, thank you,
Yeah.
because I got 2 messages calling me insane.
You know what? Maybe it's because we talk on a weekly basis. I don't know, but I felt like I knew exactly what you meant. You meant in time during a release of an album. Yeah.
Yeah. And quite frankly, it was a PayPal for Michael, and Michael didn't say that. It was a couple of other people. So it was really weird. But I usually don't get a lot of pushback on when I do a reaction to something.
Right.
But that one I did, and it was really weird because it was from 2 different people. And both of them said almost the exact same thing. It was the strangest thing.
That's fucking weird.
Yeah, it really was. But then I was like, did you hear what I said?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I said his new release. This is one of the first times I've gotten an opportunity
to go through an actual release.
Yes. I didn't. At no point did I ever say this is Tech Nine's best album.
Right.
I gotta say, with that said, I'm not saying it's not.
It's definitely up there. He's had so many albums, 21 now.
Right. That, but also the fact that I haven't had enough time to let it marinate yet.
Right, right.
Nobody has. This album just came out a week ago.
And any Tech Nine album, if you know, it takes at least a year before you really start to fill it. Just
nobody's
because of how
going to know how they feel about this for at least another 6 months.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, suffice it to say, I absolutely loved that fucking album.
You know, we're going to have to do that one of these days. We're going to have to do, since he has so many fucking albums, we're going to have to do a top 10 Tech Nine
hang on,
album.
Hang on, because I've only
haven't even heard 10 yet. You haven't even heard 10 yet, right?
Not even close to 10.
Let's see what Dirty has heard. KOD, you've heard. Did you hear Special Effects?
Mm-hmm.
And then something else. No, you didn't hear something else. Asinine. Dirty.
I think
you got some catching up. Yeah, you got some catching up.
A lot of singles.
So you're gonna know a lot of those songs just on different albums. But yeah, there's a lot. I mean, for the longest time, Ever Ready the Religion, that was his album that came out in 2005. For the longest time, that was his greatest work in my eyes. And even after KOD come out, and this is what I mean by letting it marinate for like a year or so, in my head, KOD was not his greatest album until his follow-up album came out, which was All Sixes and Sevens. When that album came out, that's when I knew, okay, you know what? KOD, that's the best work. So it does take time, you know, and who knows? In 9 months, it might change to Asinine, you know. It's
every time I've ever listened to an album, at no point do I go, oh, this is way better. I mean, after a first time, I've never once went, this is better than KOD. That thought never even entered my mind.
Right.
So anyway,
but yes, we just said it right here, right? It's an amazing fucking album. It's definitely up there for album of the years. For the album of the year, it has to be. Fucking fantastic. I mean,
I know I'm in a minority a lot of times, and maybe it's because of my rock background. I don't know, but I loved the off season. I loved it.
Yeah, that's definitely up there as well for album of the year.
I hated Funeral.
Me too. Sadly.
So,
me too.
You know, I don't know, man. Just to sit there though and say this, you know, let's move forward because it was a frustrating time for me.
The fourth quarter is going to be mind blowing. That being said, when we're talking about albums of the year, this fourth quarter is going to be crazy. Don't lock down album of the year yet. Well, Snoop's album, The Algorithm, is coming out.
Pump the brakes, man.
Yeah. Calm down, right? K-Dot's supposed to be coming out. Mount Westmore is going to be coming out.
When we start talking about greatest albums of the year, and we haven't heard K-Dot yet.
Yeah, you can't. No. You can't reserve that spot yet.
No.
We got K-Dot, Snoop's new album. Mount Westmore is going to be coming out. An Eminem new album before the year is over. I am giddy. This is going to be great. Singles of the week.
Best year in music that we've had in probably at least 2 or 3 years.
Very, very long time. Yeah. Young Thug featuring J. Cole, Stressed. That is a single of the week. Fucking amazing song. Young Thug, which we talked about while Dirty walked away. His album Punk came out. Really good album so far. Just gave it one listen, but Young Thug's one of those rappers, very catchy. I love his hooks. I love his tone, but he's not one of those rappers I can sink my teeth into with a lot of replay value. But as a fan, I listen to all hip hop albums, and Young Thug featuring J. Cole was dope. Stressed. Then we had FL Dusa featuring Kevin Gates. Dusa, such a dope fucking track. I've been bumping that a couple days, and I know Kevin Gates just came out with the song today. So as soon as this podcast's over, I'm going to be giving that a listen. Haven't heard that one yet. But as of you guys may or may not know, Mount Westmore, consisting of Snoop Dogg, E40, Too Short, and Ice Cube. Too Short. Too Short, man. This 4-rapper group. Did you hear their single yet, Dirty?
No, but I remember I told you about this like 3 weeks ago.
Right.
Because he was on Pat McAfee show.
Pat McAfee, right. Ice Cube.
And I didn't know it was out yet.
So no, not the album, the single. The single is called Big Subwoofer. And they have it's called it is fucking dope. Not only is it dope as fuck, but they have a music video, so they have visuals for it as well already. Right on. Oh my God. It is so fucking dope. It is really, really cool. It's called Big Subwoofer.
Subwoofer.
Yeah, Big Subwoofer. Yeah. Am I fucking it up?
No. Subwoofer.
Subwoofer. I'm sorry. Woofer. Yeah, my bad. But yeah, so I'm really excited for this fucking project. I'm really, really excited for this project. So you guys
in the 80s, and I know that's where this is coming from, especially with Cube's involvement in this, and probably even Snoop. Back in the 80s, the whole thing for listening to rap and hip hop is you filled your trunk with speakers, right? But better yet, a lot of guys, what they were doing is they were taking their back seats out and they were putting in a piece of plywood, and then they would put 2 subwoofers in there, and they were 12-inch subwoofers, so they were enormous, and some of them had 2 10s or 2 12s, and then a 15 in the middle. And oh my God, it was rattling cars next to them.
Yes,
you know what I mean?
No shit.
There was a car in my neighborhood, I kid you not, rattled every window in my fucking house, and he'd come home every day at 5:18, I think it was.
Yep.
And he come by, and he drove by so fucking slow, and every fucking window in my house was going.
That's all I had for music. Dirty, I think you had something for the NHL before we dipped out.
Just real quick here. There is a changing of the guard coming, I think, in the NHL. Tampa, garbage. I said it.
Garbage.
2 Stanley Cups in a row, and this season they have won 1 game out of 7.
Oh shit!
For 7 games. Yeah.
What are you doing?
That's an 82 game schedule, so there's time, but you don't get these back, man. You gotta bank them now. And and Detroit still looking really solid. They're not looking great, but they look way better than they did the past couple of years. I can't tell you how happy that makes me. Game tonight, I'm all geared up.
He's geared up and ready to go.
I haven't done that in 3 years, man.
Yeah. I can tell you're hyped for it. I can tell you're hyped. You're ready to go.
Super stoked, man. So and then Evander Kane, I've talked about him before. He's the guy that his wife narked him out about betting on his own team, and he got suspended finally for I think it was 21 games. So at least that is done for him. So
Okay.
he can kind of start anew, but I don't believe that will be in San Jose.
Right.
I believe he's going to end up on a different team now at this point, because I think San Jose has just kind of moved on from him. He is a phenomenal hockey player. Let's not get it twisted, everybody. Evander Kane is a phenomenal hockey player. He's gritty. He goes into dirty areas.
Hey now.
And he goes in the corners. He's in the front of the net. He does it all. He'll drop the gloves. He does it all. He scores everything. So if a team takes a chance on him, and let's talk about something real here, and that is that he's Black. He's African American, and he's had a very storied career. And quite frankly, he has probably done more than anybody as far as a Black hockey player goes. And I take that back. I think he's actually African Canadian. I'm pretty sure he's Canadian. So, but at any rate, I think that if a team takes a chance on him, that they're going to probably reap benefits for years to come, because I think at the core, I think he's a good guy. I really do. And he's going through a divorce. And I hope we all keep that in mind, that he has a scorned lover.
Yeah.
And I'm not trying to bury her either, because she could very well be 100% in the right in all of this. We don't know. However, it is worth pointing out. So I think that once Evander gets past these 21 games, and depending on what the team does, if he ends up going to another team, I think it'll be the best thing for everybody involved. So there's that. And then fighting is up this year. I looked at the numbers, a lot of fights. So I don't know what's happening. Because the NHL has done everything they can do to push fighting out. There's a lot of fights happening, and I love it. It's I'm not a fight.
It's a part of the game.
Well,
No, it's not a part of the game.
It is a part of the game, and I'm going to explain. I'm going to take a minute here. You know what? Yeah, I'm going to take 5 minutes here and explain fighting in hockey to people that may not understand. So, perfect example, I was watching a game last night where a player was going into the boards trying to retrieve the puck. He's behind the goal line, okay? And he's there all by himself, and another player comes behind him, cross-checks in the back. He goes face first into the glass. That guy that went face first in the glass ended up with a double minor somehow. Because he reacted to getting hit in the back, right? So he got two 2-minute penalties. And then the guy that hit him in the back got 1 2-minute power play. Well, obviously, the team that belongs to the guy that got hit is now very upset.
Right.
Because not only did their guy get cross-checked in the back, he ate glass and then ended up with a 2-minute power play for the other team.
Right.
So this is where hockey comes into play. This is case number one. There's usually two cases. This is case number one. The players for the team that the guy got hit, they are now going to take the law in their own hands. Okay. That's where fighting comes from, is they're taking the law in their own hands because the refs fucked them.
Got you.
So basically, if the ref doesn't give the other team a penalty for something that vicious, then you're going to have to answer the bell. Okay. And then the other scenario where this takes place is when a guy gets absolutely leveled, gets taken out of the game, and can't play, and may even miss a week to 10 days of playing time because somebody
injured or something,
did something dirty to him.
Right.
That guy is going to have to answer for that. There's not a penalty long enough
Right.
to make that guy have to answer for that.
Right.
And so this is where it gets confusing for some people, because they don't understand. Well, why don't you just let the refs aren't handling it? That's
Right.
where the problem is coming in. So it's one thing, to give a guy a 2-minute penalty for a guy that's going to miss 3, 4, 5 games.
Right.
How fair is that?
That's not fair at all.
So
it almost gives them an incentive to do it
for free,
right?
Jet. So now Ryan Reeves comes off the bench, right? And he's coming off the bench when that guy that caused the damage, as soon as he comes off the bench, is when you send your guy and you tap him on the shoulder, and he knows what it means.
Right.
And he goes out there, laser focused. He's going to take this guy out of this fucking game as best he can and even it up. So that's where where fighting comes from in hockey. A lot of people think it's just kind of, they're angry and they just decide to fight.
Right.
That's usually not.
That's what I thought.
It's usually way more.
It's a little bit more strategic than that.
It's way
right?
more
A little bit more
premeditated.
thought out. Yeah, right. Thought out.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, and I think that's all we have. I have nothing music.
That is all we have, ladies and gentlemen. Like we said at the beginning of this video, like this video for more great podcast content. Subscribe if you haven't yet. And ladies and gentlemen, we will see you next